What's happening, everyone? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button on your way in. Like, share, subscribe, because we got some really good topics we're going to hit today. And the first one obviously has to deal with Deshaun Watson. As we all know, we have been watching the Deshaun Watson case play out in just live and direct, right? Like we just know that Deshaun Watson is, fighting a ton of sexual assault lawsuits. And it looks like we might be coming up to the end of the Deshaun Watson saga. Like, share, subscribe, because we're going to talk about this. And this comes from Rich Eisen, who is a respected journalist who has the Rich Eisen show. I think it's on like Peacock or something via Amazon Prime. And it says, this is an article from 24/7 Sports. It says, Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson awaits finally in the lawsuit against him, sexual misconduct with more than a dozen Houston area massage therapists. Public outcry from attorney Tony Busby has screeched to a halt, which signifies a potential positive turn for the first-round pick, according to NFL Network host Rich Eisen. Football Morning in America author Peter King this week said the Philadelphia Eagles are very much intrigued by Watson and one of the few teams who could make a move for him should his legal situation come to an end. So the Eagles are still very interested. And from what I understand, the Dolphins are still very interested. This is via Rich Eisen of NFL Network. He says, quote, "You can hear a pin drop on Deshaun Watson. All eyes on the civil court system in Texas," Eisen said this week on the Rich Eisen Show. "Is Deshaun Watson settling his cases right now? At the draft, that's all I heard. That was in the works. That's why Peter King has a bunch of teams that are lined up for Deshaun Watson should he be a viable quarterback in the NFL in 2022." And Rich Eisen goes on to say this: "I don't think it's going to be 2022. How do you like that? I think it's going to be 2021. I think it's quiet for a reason. You don't hear a word from a lawyer who was on Instagram like a 60-year-old sophomore on Instagram every single thing that was going on there. You don't hear a word from him right now, do you? Anyone who knows the legal system knows that something is being discussed and he doesn't want to spoil it." Now, Rich brings up some very valid points, right? This is what Rich is saying. So you guys remember at the beginning of all this Deshaun Watson stuff, Tony Busby was on Instagram every single day talking about we're going to get justice for these women. I'm up to 10, I'm up to 12, I'm up to 15, I'm up to 18, I'm up to 20 women that have sexual misconduct things about Deshaun Watson. We're not going to let you abuse your power. We're not going to let you get away with this. We're not going to let you do X, Y, and Z. Remember, like, you guys remember that? Leave a comment if you remember Tony Busby every single day updating us about how many victims there were, who the person was, what they're going to do, and all this stuff. And I came on live with you guys, and I was like, man, something ain't right about that. Something ain't right about an attorney going to social media to try to out. I get it. You're representing the victims. I get it. I mean, I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if they're victims, obviously all of this alleged victims. If they are victims, then absolutely they should deserve justice. But to go on Instagram like that doesn't sit right with me. And it never sat right with me from the beginning. And so I was like, man, something ain't right about that. So that's what brought a lot of the initial speculation. Was Busby was actually the attorney, and one, that he was representing all 20-something women, and two was the fact that he was running the social media. Well, what Rich Eisen is saying, that now that Busby is quiet, he feels like deals are being made. He feels like Deshaun Watson is starting to settle some of these cases. You got to remember, Busby represents every single one of the alleged victims. So he's not going to come out and be all over social media, be all over Instagram, be all over said platform like he was in the beginning, because he doesn't want to ruin the deals for the women. He doesn't want to ruin the deals for his clients. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button as you come in. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So that is why everything is quiet on the Deshaun Watson front. At least that's what Rich Eisen is hearing. And he's hearing that there are still teams interested in Deshaun Watson, not for next year, But for this year, for right now, why? Because you got to think. Here's the thing. This is what I always find interesting about NFL teams. You got to remember what NFL teams are. They are multi-billion-dollar corporations. They are multi-billion-dollar organizations. We're talking about $2 and $3 billion, right? So when you're worth $2 and $3 billion, like your organization, you're going to know about your employees, especially when your employee, you're paying him $150 million. Deshaun Watson signed a contract with the Houston Texans for like $40 million a year, $40 million a year over 5 years. So they're going to know what the hell's going on with Deshaun Watson. They're going to know, strangely or not, that he has 30 massage therapists. They're going to know who his friends are. They're going to know where he hangs out at. They're going to know what's taking place. They're going to know all of this stuff. None of these things are by accident. None of these things are surprising to them. None of these things are like, you know what I mean? Like, have you guys, it's a funny show. It's a show. I don't even know if it's still on anymore. It used to be on HBO. It's called Ballers, right? It was the first time I really saw John David Washington. He's an actor on it. The Rock's on it. And then they have a bunch of like celebrity guests, like Odell Beckham's been on there, a bunch of football players, basketball players. But the show Ballers takes place at a sports agency. And basically it shows, now it's fictional because it's a TV show, but you know, there's a little truth in all fiction, right? Like in most fiction, especially stuff based on reality, there's a little bit of truth in all those type of fiction works, right? So in this show, it's a sports agency, and they know everything the players do because they represent the players. And in that same show, it shows the behind the scenes of like NFL teams and all that stuff. And they know everything that the players do, whether they're on steroids, whether they're cheating, whether they, you know what I mean? Whether they're cheating on their wives, whether they, you know what I mean? Like they know what's going on, right or wrong. So the Houston Texans knew what was taking place with Deshaun Watson. He had 30 massage therapists. They knew that. That wasn't a surprise to them. What was ironic is that all these cases came out immediately after he demanded a trade. It was ironic. All of these cases, these sexual assault cases, came out immediately after he said, I will never play for the Houston Texans again. So I'm saying all that to say this. It sounds as if NFL teams are interested in Deshaun Watson again, the Eagles and Dolphins to just name a few, then that means they believe this situation will be handled soon. They believe this situation is on the backside. We hit a plateau. We were going up as far as like bad news. 5 women, 8 women, 10 women, 12 women, 15 women, 18 women. It got up to 22 women. 22 women accused Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct and filed lawsuits, and all represented by a man by the name of Tony Busby. And he was dancing on social media, talking about all this justice he was going to get, talking about how superstars aren't going to be walking all over his clients and yada, 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 right? And so now we've hit a plateau. And now for the last month or maybe even 2, things have been quiet because I think we're on the backside of this thing. I think we are closer to the end than we are to the beginning. And because of that, because Deshaun Watson is a very, very talented quarterback. Like he's a very, very talented NFL player at the most important position. And because he is so talented, because he is, I mean, we're talking about a man last year on a team that won 4 games and went 4-12. He completed 70% of his passes. He threw for 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, and a QB rating of 112. I mean, that is impressive. That's impressive. 70% of his passes, over 4,800 yards, led the league in passing yards, 33 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, a QB rating of 112 on a team that only won 4 games, on a team that didn't have a number 1 receiver. Like, this is how good this man is. For his career, he's a 68%, he's a 68% passer, which is stellar. He's thrown 100 touchdowns, only 36 interceptions, and a career average quarterback rating of 104.5. 104.5. The man's outstanding. Like he's amazing. He's amazing at what he does. Leave your thoughts and comments in the chat. Leave your thoughts and comments in the chat on Deshaun Watson because he's an incredible quarterback. And be sure to hit the thumbs up button. But yeah, we look like we are coming to an end of the Deshaun Watson saga. Allegedly. Rich Eisen of the NFL Network has come out and said that everything is quiet on the Deshaun Watson front. Teams are interested in Deshaun Watson once again because it looks like he is slowly but surely clearing his name and settling these lawsuits. This is continued from 24/7. It says, I'm going to read it to you once again. According to court, well, this is a different part. According to court filings from Watson's representation, several of the publicly named therapists in the middle of the lawsuit allegedly talked to other clients about the NFL player being a preferred client after the alleged incidents of misconduct occurred. According to Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio, Watson could face discipline from the league even if exonerated. So that's the interesting part. So here's the thing about Deshaun Watson, and here's why I don't believe he'll play football in 2021. I don't believe he'll play at all. And here's why. He could settle all of these cases. There's over 20 cases. He could settle all of them. He could settle every single case. Not go any jail time. All lawsuits can be dropped. You can settle them out of court, never go to court, whatever. You can settle all of them. That doesn't stop the NFL. The NFL, Roger Goodell is what we consider judge, jury, and executioner. Roger Goodell doesn't care about that. Roger Goodell in the NFL don't care about whether you go to jail. They don't care about whether you were exonerated. They don't care about whether, they don't really care about anything. They just care about the representation of the Shield. They just care about the representation of the NFL. All they care about is like whether you make us look bad or not. And Deshaun Watson made the NFL look bad with this situation. Right or wrong, whether he's innocent or guilty, he's made him look bad. It's bad press. And it's the one thing the NFL hates is bad press. Right or wrong, and they've gotten better about it. Never really cared much, but when it comes to bad press, they hate it. For example, Ezekiel Elliott, he was accused of something similar to Deshaun Watson. It was something similar. I think it was domestic assault. He was accused of domestic assault against a woman. It was an action against a woman. And Ezekiel Elliott was accused of it. He was never arrested. Never went to jail. I don't even know if there was a lawsuit out there. It was just kind of like speculation, right? That Zeke had put his hands on this woman. But nothing ever came. There was no video. There was really no witnesses. It was like he say versus she say. It's his word versus her word. And Zeke, like I said, never went to jail, never did any of these things. And Zeke still got suspended for 6 games. Ezekiel Elliott missed 6 games that season with no video, no witnesses, no jail time, no nothing. And that was just one woman accusing Zeke of doing something to her. Domestic violence, domestic assault, whatever. Just one. Deshaun Watson has had over 20 women, massage therapists, come out and say he did something to them. Do you think he's going to play football in 2020? Let's be honest. This has been a situation for months now. Deshaun Watson has had over 20 women come out and say he did something to them. Do you really think he's going to play football in 2020? Absolutely not. I don't see it. I could be totally wrong. I could be missing the boat. Leave your thoughts in the chat if I'm just totally wrong, if you think I'm missing the boat. But in 2020, I don't see it. I don't see Deshaun Watson playing football. I just don't. Not when there's 20 women. And let's continue reading from Mike Florio. Say, according to Pro Football Talks, Mike Florio, Watson could face discipline from the league even if he's exonerated. Florio suggests the NFL has enough ammunition to suspend Watson under the league's personal conduct policy. Florio referenced the league's 2010 decision to suspend Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger after he was accused of rape in 2009. And then misconduct in a separate incident in 2010. Now, here's the biggest difference. Florio references Ben Roethlisberger, right? And Roethlisberger was accused of rape. That's not sexual misconduct. He was actually accused of rape on 2 separate instances. Here's the thing. Here's the biggest difference between Ben Roethlisberger then and Deshaun Watson now. The drastically biggest differences. The NFL, that's we're talking about 10, 11, 12 years apart. Here's the biggest differences between the NFL then and the NFL now. They have learned to manage their PR better. Back in 2009 and 2010, I'm going to just be honest with you. The NFL didn't care about anything but the NFL. They didn't care about if you had concussions. They didn't care about women. They didn't care about anything. Think about what was happening around that time. You had Ben Roethlisberger accused of rape on 2 separate instances. He wasn't like he was suspended a whole season. Hell, he probably shouldn't have been allowed to play football ever again, right? But that kind of got swept under the rug. Yeah, I think he got suspended, but it was like 2 games, right? Around that same time, or a few years later, you had the Ray Rice incident. Ray Rice was originally suspended only for 2 games. Think about that. Ray Rice knocked his eventual wife unconscious. He knocked her out on an elevator with elevator cameras. The NFL knew the cameras existed. The NFL probably, remember, this is a billion-dollar corporation, multi-billion-dollar corporation. There's no way TMZ can get the footage before the NFL. TMZ is worth a fraction of the NFL. Let's just be honest. So there's elevator footage at a Atlantic City hotel. There's footage of Ray Rice knocking out his wife, or fiance at the time, knocking her cold out and dragging her unconscious body off the elevator. And the NFL only gave him 2 games. It wasn't until TMZ releases the footage of Ray Rice knocking his wife out and dragging her unconscious body off the elevator that the NFL subsequently, ended his career, right? Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So, you mean to tell me TMZ can get the video before you? So what I'm saying is the culture of the NFL back then was totally different. They didn't care about stuff like domestic violence. And they admitted it. They've essentially admitted, they're like, yo, we dropped the ball on several instances. Ben Roethlisberger to name one. Ray Rice to name another. So, in order to make up for the 40, 50 years of screwing up, right? Now we're going to drastically punish guys, even if they're exonerated. We're going to drastically overpunish, right? We're going to overpunish because we used to screw up. We screwed up on Ray Rice. We screwed up on Ben Roethlisberger. We screwed up on, what is the dude? He's a UFC fighter now. Oh my God. He used to play for the Carolina Panthers. And his wife or fiance or whoever she was, girlfriend, wrote this detailed list. Leave it in the comment if you know what I'm talking about. He was a defensive end. He was actually pretty good. And he strangled his wife or girlfriend and almost tried to drown her. Yeah, we dropped the ball on that one. We had the wide receiver that used to play for the Eagles that had manslaughter. We dropped the ball on that one. So now when it comes to Zeke and Deshaun Watson and anybody that has any speculation of doing something to a woman, especially, yeah, we're gonna make sure we try to make amends for those things we screwed up for in the past. So, like I said, Deshaun Watson can be exonerated and can be cleared of all wrongdoing or settle his. I mean, that's not really making settlements. Isn't really being cleared. It's really just paying somebody to be quiet. It's not really, clearing your name. It's really just paying someone to be quiet, paying someone to go away, paying someone that they won't continue to talk to the media and TMZ and post on Instagram, social media. So, yeah, Deshaun Watson still has an uphill battle because say if he settles all, 20 settlements is a lot. 22 settlements is a whole lot of settlements. So once again, like I said, that's not actually being exonerated. It's more so just paying somebody wanting to go away. It's paying somebody to really go away. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. So I'm going to read to you one more time the reports coming from Rich Eisen via the NFL Network. It says, this is from Rich Eisen. He says, quote, "You can hear a pin drop on Deshaun Watson. All eyes are on the civil court system in Texas." Eisen said this week on the Rich Eisen Show, "Is Deshaun Watson settling his cases right now? Question mark. At the draft, that's all I heard that was in the works. That's why Peter King has a bunch of teams that are lined up for Deshaun Watson. Should he be viable? Should he be a viable quarterback in the NFL in 2022? Rich Eisen goes on to say, I don't think it's going to be 2022. How do you like that? I think it's going to be 2021. I think it's quiet for a reason. You don't hear a word for a lawyer who was on Instagram like a 16-year-old sophomore. On Instagram, every single thing was going on there. You don't hear a word from him right now, do you? Anyone who knows the legal system knows that something is being discussed and he doesn't want to spoil it. Something is being discussed and he doesn't want to spoil it. Rich Eisen believes a deal is being made in the case of Deshaun Watson, and that is why all things are quiet on that front. And I believe him. I believe him. I think he's right. I think there wouldn't be it wouldn't be this quiet if Deshaun Watson, if something wasn't taking place. So yeah, Deshaun Watson he could be exonerated soon. Just really keep. I do think. Here's the thing. I do think Deshaun Watson, a move will be made before the start of the season. I wholeheartedly believe that Deshaun Watson's case, whether he's found guilty, whether, like something happens, all of this will take place before the start of the season. And I think that's the biggest thing taking place with Deshaun Watson and his legal team. He wants whatever's going to happen before the start of training camp. Why? Because even if the NFL comes out and suspends him, right? He wants to be able to be on his new team. He wants to be able to be on his new team because Deshaun Watson still wants out of Houston. Like that doesn't change. Just because all these women have come out and filed these lawsuits against him, that's made it hard for Houston to move him, even though they didn't want to move him. But I think he still wants out. I know he still wants out of Houston. So with all of that taking place, Deshaun Watson, whatever punishment's coming from the NFL, he still wants to be able to be on his new team and up out of Houston by the start of training camp, by the start of the season. It's interesting because the NFL released its season, its schedules for every team this season. There's a bunch of games being leaked out. I don't know if they've officially come out, but there's a bunch of games being leaked out by different reporters and different stuff. And ironically, Deshaun Watson and the Texans open up week 1 from what I've seen against Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it'll be, a lot of people will be tuning in to see whether Deshaun Watson's able to play. A lot of people will be tuning in to see whether Trevor Lawrence, they want to see Trevor Lawrence's first start. So that there's a lot riding on that first game of the season between the Texans and the Jaguars. Not just him. Who else has this happened before? I'm not sure, Rob. I'm not sure who this has happened to before. But I told you about how the NFL has a history of just sweeping things under the rug, right? Like, Mike Florio brought up how, Ben Roethlisberger was suspended back in 2009, 2010 after, he had 2 rape cases, 2 ladies that accused him of rape. The difference between the NFL back in 2009, 2010 and 2021 is that they're trying to clean up their image, right? For a long time, the NFL was seen as the no fun league. The NFL was seen as a league that didn't care about women. The NFL was seen, and still is kind of seen as a league that doesn't care about their players. The NFL was seen as a league that doesn't care about social justice. Like the NFL had all these whatever was going good for the NBA was bad for the NFL, right? So they didn't give players good contracts. They didn't want their players speaking up against social issues, like all of this stuff, right? So over the last 10 to maybe 12, 15 years, they've tried to clean up their image a lot, right? They're trying to clean up their image a ton. And so when it comes to these things like this stuff with Deshaun Watson, they're going to try to clean it up. They're going to try to get ahead of it. They're going to try to make sure that it goes away and make sure that justice is served, right? At least put up a front that they want justice to be served. So, yeah. Chris MC says, there's always quiet before the storm. You could say that, but I think the storm already hit. When you have 22 women come out and say that you did something to them, they come to give you a massage and you took more than just a massage, that was the storm. I think we've plateaued. I think we've plateaued on this Deshaun Watson thing. I think it's quiet because you got to think, Tony Busby, this attorney I've already mentioned this several times, man, this dude is a chatterbox. This dude was out here. He's representing these women in a serious case, and he's all over Instagram talking about yada yada this and yada yada that, and we're gonna make sure no superstar treatment and all of this stuff and all of that. And it's like, bro, like just do your job. Like just chill out, do your job, and make sure these women get justice. You don't got to run an Instagram and tell them every single move. And the fact that he's not doing that anymore makes me believe Rich Eisen. Makes me believe that this thing is getting handled. This thing is getting settled. No, go back and look. Everyday black quarterback ever in the NFL has done the same thing, especially when the contract is up, where they demanded a trade. Warren Moon, RG3, Mike Vick, Randall Cunningham. That's interesting. I never thought about it like this, John. I never thought about it like this. I'm not gonna say I don't think all things apply to every black quarterback in this situation. Mike Vick, we know he had the dogfighting thing. Yeah, we know Mike had the dogfighting thing. Randall Cunningham, I'm not so sure. I'm a little young, so I'll have to look that one up. Him and Warren Moon. RG3 just got hurt. I don't know about RG3. He just got hurt and rushed it, and it was never been the same player. So, no, that's interesting. I might have to do some more diving into that and come back with a different topic for that. But appreciate you sharing, John. Appreciate you sharing. For those who tuning in, once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy, Jr. at the Black Boss channel. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. We got a topic or two left, and then I'll get off here. But I do want to talk about Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan is in the news. He is sharing his last text message conversation between himself and Kobe Bryant. So for those who are behind a little bit, Kobe Bryant will be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame this Saturday. And Michael Jordan will represent Kobe in his enshrinement. Obviously, Kobe tragically passed away in January 2020 in a helicopter crash. Him, his daughter, Gianna, and 7 other victims. RIP to all those who died in that helicopter crash out in Los Angeles. And so, 6 other victims, rather. I'm sorry. And so Jordan will speak. He spoke at the memorial service for Kobe Bryant, and he is sharing their last conversation, the text message conversation back from December 8th, 2019. So it was roughly a month before the passing of Kobe. This is how the text read. And so for those, just to give you some context, Jordan has Sincoro tequila. It's his tequila. I think it's been out about 2 years now. And so Kobe texted Jordan and said, "This tequila is awesome." Kobe texted referring to Jordan. I'm reading from Sports Illustrated. It says, "This tequila is awesome." Kobe texted referring to Jordan Sincoro tequila, a bottle which was sent to Bryant at the launch. "Thank you, my brother," Jordan responded. "Yes, sir. Family good?" ? Kobe replied, "All good. Yours?" "All good." Jordan wanted to talk to Kobe about his daughter's basketball team, which he was coaching. And then Jordan said, "He was really into coaching Gigi." Jordan said, "So I hit him up about that. Happy holidays," Jordan texted back, "and hope to catch up soon. Coach Kobe?" I added the little crying face emoji. Jordan chuckles. "Aha, back at you," Kobe wrote. "Hey, coach, I'm sitting on the bench right now, and we're blowing this team out 45-8. I just love that text, Jordan says, because it shows Kobe's competitive nature. So yeah, so this is, I think this was pretty interesting, simply because it shows you the relationship Jordan and Kobe had. I mean, as we all know, it's well documented that Kobe looked up to Michael Jordan. Kobe wanted to be Michael Jordan. Kobe, emulated his game off Michael Jordan. Kobe, ironically, was the same size, height, and pretty much same weight as Michael Jordan. He copied his moves. He did everything. And when Kobe was alive, whenever people would ask him who was better, him or Mike, he would always defer to Mike, because he was like, there would be no Kobe Bryant if there was no Michael Jordan. So even though Kobe's daddy played in the NBA, he said straight up, there would be no Kobe Bryant if there was no Michael Jordan, because he emulated every single thing from Mike's repertoire. And so it's interesting to see this text message because it shows, like, especially that last part, Kobe's team's up 45-8, and it sounds like he's still not satisfied, right? Like, he was that kind of competitor. So this was really cool to have Michael Jordan come out and share their last text messages, and to share that, he really misses his friend, man. And it's sad because Kobe Bryant gave his blood, sweat, and tears to the Lakers. He gave his blood, sweat, and tears to the NBA, and he left it all out on the court. Russell Westbrook reminds me of Kobe Bryant a lot because they take no games off. There's no load management with Russell Westbrook. There was no load management with Kobe Bryant. There's you know what I mean? Like they didn't play every single game like it's their last. And to share this, like, because we always see Kobe as this supreme competitor, NBA player, like, father or whatever. But one thing about Kobe's post-career is that we learned about him more of as a human, right? Because when he was in basketball, he was dedicated to basketball. He didn't really do outside ventures. You see LeBron doing movies and commercials and all this stuff. Kobe did his Nike duties, right? He did his Nike commercials, but you didn't really see him outside of that. Like early in his career, he would show up on the TV shows like the Moeshas or the different stuff like that, Nickelodeon stuff. He was a teenager, so he was showing up on that. But when he got into the prime of his career, winning championships and especially after Shaq left, all of this stuff went away. All that stuff went away because he dedicated to basketball. Shout out to Walter Bailey. Shout out to Walter. He dedicated to basketball because he wanted to win. And then as soon as basketball was over for him in 2016, he let it go. And he really enjoyed all the things outside of the NBA. He enjoyed coaching his daughter. He enjoyed putting together these children's books, which I own like all of them, right? He enjoyed talking with Michael Jordan about life and about Sincero tequila, right? Like all of these things matter to him way more than just basketball or NBA basketball. He enjoyed taking his daughter to WNBA games and to being on the sideline and courtside to watch Iona Ionescu over at Oregon, or to Haley Van Lith when she was in high school, who's now at the University of Louisville. Like, he enjoyed these things. And this last text message exchange between Jordan and Kobe, is so subtle. It's so innocent. It's so just regular, basic. But man, it's just crazy to think like it's already been over a year that we lost Kobe. And, just to see like his last message between his idol, and in it, you get the ultimate like black man exchange. You know what I mean? Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to be like you, man. This stuff's good stuff, man. Shout out to you. I hope you and the family's all good. This is the basic stuff that we do in our culture, that we give each other big ups and props. And it's just really cool to see that between Kobe and Michael Jordan. So, yeah, like Kobe's being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame this Saturday, and Michael Jordan will be the presenter. And I'm really interested to see on how that's going to take place. I'm really interested to see how that's going to go down. I'm really interested to see the reaction between everybody in the building, because, this Hall of Fame class is loaded. And we're talking about Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. This might be the most loaded Hall of Fame class in the history of the NBA. I don't know. I don't remember who was in Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame class. I don't know who was in Magic Johnson's Hall of Fame class. But Kobe Bryant, 5 championships. Tim Duncan, 5 championships. Kevin Garnett, a championship, a Defensive Player of the Year, and one of the greatest power forwards ever to live. And 3 of the greatest, top 30, top 25 basketball players to ever lace them up. Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan, arguably in most people's top 10. And this is a loaded class. This is a super loaded class. So I'm interested to see how that will take place this Saturday. Basketball Hall of Fame. Kobe Bryant will be enshrined by Michael Jordan. That's all I got for today, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. from the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation Sports Show. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at VF Sports Show. We post content on there all the time. The other night, I posted about the air up there from And One. I just found a video of the air up there in And One, and I was like, man, do anybody remember him? And we posted that and had some good conversations with that. And follow me on Twitter at JLighty7. We have basketball conversations on there, football conversations, and just black men conversations. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up on your way out. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. at the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.